Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
I understand that EA Sports College Football 27 is currently taking you for a ride, Mr. Singleton.
You know what? As soon as I told you that, I knew that's what you were going to open this show with. I guess we've just worked together long enough to know that that would happen. Yeah, man. They made Texas Tech's defensive line look like the 85 Bears, man.
Maybe Texas Tech's defensive line is the 85 Bears. Maybe this is the year that the Red Raiders finally contend for a championship.
Yeah, man.
I'm skeptical, but maybe.
Yeah, I would be skeptical too. I mean, screw you, number one, for kicking them to the Pac-12 and having me play them week 0.
I did not orchestrate that, to be clear.
I mean, if you would have kept them in the Big 12, it wouldn't have happened.
That was just a product of chance.
Sure.
Product of sheer chance. However, yes, the Locked In Dynasty League is underway. There are numerous members that have joined. We have it split up into the Big 12 and the ACC, and Grayson and I are both in the Big 12. And I got Coastal Carolina in my opener, which was not a cakewalk, but not the most difficult of matchups. Grayson drew
Didn't
Texas
you win
Tech.
by 30?
I did win by 30, yeah. Kind of pulled away at the end.
Oh, okay.
It was tight for a half.
Okay.
Heisman difficulty is not for the faint of heart, man.
Who was?
You got to be on the P's and Q's.
Who's Baylor? Because whoever's Baylor lost to La Tech.
I don't think. Do we have a user-controlled?
Do we have a
Baylor?
user-controlled Baylor or no?
I don't think we do.
Oh, okay.
I think Baylor is just the CPU right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Regardless. Yes, the Locked In Dynasty is underway. You want to join? Let us know. We'll squeeze you in. We'll find room for you. 405-651-3439. That's how you get a hold of us today on the First Liberty Bank text line. And the show is brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno, family-owned and operated. GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, and the folks out at Dorsey Jones are eager to assist you in getting behind the wheel of and completing the purchase of a brand new GMC that suits your lifestyle. Head out to El Reno. Check out Dorsey Jones. It is July 14th, 2026. And I am going to begin this program, Mr. Singleton, with a prediction.
Okay.
And this prediction is entirely speculative. If there's one thing I've learned over the years when you work a job like mine, you have to very clearly distinguish between intel and speculation, because some people struggle to grasp where the line is between those two things. And so I'll say something, I'll express an opinion, and then I'll wind up being wrong. And somebody will come at me after the fact and be like, you said this was going to happen. No, that was just my opinion. So I want to very clearly establish up front that this is nothing more than a speculative prediction on my part. But with that said, what I offer up in that regard is my prediction that a former Sooner who is currently playing college football elsewhere returns to Norman, America in 2027 via the transfer portal. This would not be unprecedented. It has happened on a couple occasions over the years. I think the most notorious example would be Austin Stogner, who, of course, transferred from Oklahoma to South Carolina
and then came
for the
back.
2022 season and then transferred back to wrap up his college career in 2023 with OU. But there's not a lot happening in July, Grayson. And so what does happen in July, we've got time and space to stew on. And one of the things that's been all over the news cycle in college football the last few weeks is the passage of the new 5-for-5 eligibility guidelines, where you have a 5-year clock, and within that 5-year clock, you can now play up to 5 full seasons, as opposed to the old 5-for-4 clock, where red shirts came into play. The NCAA basically did away with that. Red shirts aren't going to exist anymore. And so what that did, Grayson, was it opened up the possibility for guys that have not redshirted yet in their collegiate careers to potentially play an extra season beyond what they were already expecting to play. We've talked about this dynamic with P.J. Adibawara, who is now eligible to return in 2027, whereas previously he was not. The same is true for Peyton Bowen. The same is true for Jacoby Johnson and Jermichael Carter as well. But there is another Sooner, another former Sooner, I should say, who benefits from the 5-for-5 clock, the new clock. And that is Sammy Omosigho out at UCLA.
Okay. Interesting.
Here's the thing. It's been a few months, and this just dawned on me last night as I was kind of ruminating on what the possibilities for Oklahoma might include with the passage of 5-for-5. We discussed this quite a bit in the month of January because there was some consternation on the part of the fan base when Sammy Omosigho hit the transfer portal and headed out west. Sammy did not want to leave. Oklahoma didn't really want Sammy to leave. But there was kind of a mutual decision that the two parties arrived at. Hey, look, you're probably not going to start in 2026 when we have Kip Lewis, Cole Sullivan, and the strong possibility at that point, now a certainty, that Owen Heineke returns in 2026 as well. So there was an understanding on Oklahoma's part that you can be a rotational guy here, or you can very realistically go somewhere else in the Power Four and be a full-time starter. And Omosigho kind of understood, okay, if I'm going to put myself in position to go play NFL football, then I might be well served to go somewhere where I could get more snaps, get more experience, get more production than I can at Oklahoma. That kid, though, loved the university, loved the program as much as anybody I've ever covered and been around. He did not want to leave. There was nothing about Oklahoma itself that made him want to leave. But business is business, and so he got in the transfer portal, and he headed to UCLA. Because 2026 was supposed to be his last year. It was supposed to be his last season of eligibility. Well, now, theoretically, he's eligible to return in 2027. And Grayson, when I realized that, I also got to thinking about what Oklahoma's needs are going to include in the portal this offseason. And there is the very strong possibility that they will need a transfer linebacker.
The shoe will fit.
Because Heineke is leaving.
Yeah.
Kip Lewis is leaving. Those two will graduate. You'll get Cole Sullivan for an additional year. No doubt you will have some portal attrition at that position because you always do. But Oklahoma's going to need experience at linebacker next season. Who better to go grab in the transfer portal as far as experience is concerned that not only has played a ton of college football, but that knows the system, knows the scheme? Look, I have no idea what kind of a time, what kind of an experience Sammy Omosigho is having right now at UCLA. Maybe he loves it. Maybe he has every intention of finishing out his collegiate career as a Bruin. If so, great. Wish that kid the best. But what I know is that kid adores the University of Oklahoma, still obviously has a ton of deep-seated relationships here, and now he may have an extra year of eligibility to play with. Oklahoma may have a need for his services. And so this is something, whether it comes to fruition or not, whether there's even any concrete indication before the portal window opens up in January that this could happen or not, this is something I'm going to keep an eye out for. Because as you said just a second ago, circumstantially, situationally, the shoe would fit between OU and Omosigho.
Yeah, because just like you outlined there, they're going to have the need. And you're also, here's my other thought, if I could add something to that, it would be you're going to want somebody who can fill that need at an elite level, right? Well, if Sammy Omosigho gets to that elite level where he would be a serviceable replacement to a Kip Lewis or an Owen Heineke, or if he's even better than those dudes, okay, now you're talking about an elevated price point as well. So there's always two sides to a marriage here. Oklahoma's going to need a guy like him, yes. Who better than a dude who's already been in the system, especially given that Brent's system is very complex. But if he has that kind of year, that would want Oklahoma fans that Oklahoma fans would want Oklahoma to bring him back, that dude's going to come at a price point. you would also have to convince him, and this is where NIL really comes into play here, you would have to convince him to turn down the NFL if he has a year like that as well. Now, this is where NIL comes in because that's a lot easier to do because they can make money, a la why Kip Lewis and Isaiah Satania are back here this year. So I think there's even more factors on the Omasego side of it than there would be for Oklahoma. With Oklahoma, it's a very clear, you look at the math, we're going to need a linebacker. It makes a lot of sense for us to bring in a guy who already has familiarity with a complex system. On the Omasego side, there's a lot more variables that are going to need to be worked out, a lot of which have to do with how he performs in a UCLA uniform this year.
There's no doubt. Like, he's got to be worth the take. He's got to perform at a level that makes Oklahoma comfortable even considering bringing a kid like that back. Oklahoma's got to feel like this is going to be a plug-and-play starter for us. And I don't question that he could be right now, but we also don't know. We don't know that for a fact. We don't know where and how he fits into what Bob Chesney and that staff are doing in year one at UCLA. You would think a guy like that, as much football as he has under his belt, is going to be in the starting lineup somewhere. But we'll see. Booger McFlippin says, so you're saying Jackson Arnold has a chance to come back?
I'm not going to lie. I thought you were going to say Michael Hawkins.
No, we've talked about that. And
we have.
That. Michael and Malik Hawkins are two guys that, if you told me either one of those two dudes, Michael and or Malik, wind up finishing their college career at Oklahoma, I could buy that because there's obviously a ton of history there, a ton of relationships there. It would just have to be something that makes sense on the sides of both parties. But the difference between what could come to fruition, what could hypothetically come into play with those dudes and the situation with Omasego is that this opportunity with Omasego, this whole conversation did not even exist until just a couple weeks ago. This was not on anybody's radar because Omasego was going to play this fall at UCLA and then he wasn't going to have a choice but to move on to the NFL. Well, now he will have a choice. Maybe he's already got a ton of NFL drafts. Maybe he just booms at UCLA. Maybe he has 120 tackles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe he does wind up like a guy with a mid-round draft grade. He's very physically gifted, very athletic. That's not outside the realm of possibility. But if Oklahoma winds up in need of a linebacker, you don't have to figure out how to work the back channels there. All the back channels.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
You had the kid here for 3 years. If there's interest there, if there's mutual interest between both parties, I'd have to think that comes together pretty seamlessly and pretty quickly.
Yeah, depending on how the freshmen develop over the course of the season and the offseason, the guys like Bo Jandro or Dane Bathurst or whatnot, you could be looking for multiple linebackers in the portal. Because,
you might be.
I mean, beyond Owen and Kip, who's to say James Nesta sticks around after being here for so long without a whole bunch of extended playing time? We know close to nothing about Marcus James yet. So, there's a reasonable possibility that you could be looking not just for one that Sammy Omasego could fill, but, multiple.
Greg and Muskogee said, I guess if you're talking about Omasego could come back, well, so could Kobe McKenzie. No, he could not. No. So Kobe's a year older than Sammy. He was a member of the 22 class. Sammy was a member of the 23 class. So this is barring an injury waiver, this is Kobe McKenzie's last year of college football at Northwestern. Sammy Omasego is playing his 4th year of college football this fall at UCLA. If he wants a 5th, he can have a 5th. But this is Kobe McKenzie's 5th year in college. The old, I guess it doesn't really matter for a guy like that, whether you're applying the old clock or the new clock. It's his 5th year, his last year to use regardless. Crimson Horn said Nick Anderson. I don't know I guess
this would be Nick's 5th year.
This would be Nick's 5th year.
Yes, I was looking at that earlier today.
But he's got an extra one if he wants it because of the injury waiver that's applicable to his 2024 season. So I don't know that Nick and OU will ever reunite. It's a guy can dream, and I love Nick Anderson. I think he got a raw deal here, but I don't think that could happen. The reason I bring up Omasego specifically, in addition to the fact that the door kind of just opened up because of 5 for 5, is because that is highly realistic. it is highly realistic that those two parties could reunite, both because of the circumstances and because of Omasigo's love for the University of Oklahoma and the quality of the time that he had here. His student-athlete experience for 3 years at OU. Commando says, I do know for a fact that Andrell Anthony has posted about missing Oklahoma for the past couple of months. Would we welcome Andrell Anthony back to Norman? What's he even doing these days? He's got to be out of eligibility.
Because Andrell Anthony's, a year younger than me, and I've been out of college going on 3 years now.
Is he still no, he is still at Duke. That's crazy. I guess, yeah, he's eligible for the 6th year because just like Nick, he gets a medical waiver for 2024. He was hurt all year. That's crazy.
I didn't even think of that.
Man, that dude had one of the most electrifying 5-game stretches I've ever seen from an Oklahoma wide receiver. And then that was curtains. That was it. Tore the ACL against Texas and hardly ever heard from him again. I guess he had a decent year at Duke last year. I didn't really keep up with it, but it seemed like he had a decent season.
Tattoo Baker, who is the text line troll, says Grayson is on paint chips today.
Bro, Tattoo Baker, please quit.
Oh, no.
Please stop. Listen.
I know Tattoo Baker is such a troll that I know not to take him seriously at all.
Tattoo
That's why I'm
listen,
reading this.
Listen, we love you. We know your brand. Send us a serious text every now and again, please.
He said, still waiting on Grayson Singleton to do radio at an elite level.
You gotta send us a few.
Oh, that's good.
Gotta send us a few sweet texts with the salty.
I
Gotta
feel-
mix it up a little
I
bit.
feel like Tattoo Baker's reputation is so entrenched now that he would have to clarify when he was being serious.
That's pretty true. Reformed Homer said, clarify for me, the new rule gives 5 years with or without a redshirt or injury. Yes. So the rule is 5 years to play 5. Redshirts will no longer exist. There is no longer a reason to redshirt a player because under the 5 to play 4 eligibility model, you had a reason to redshirt a player because it saved a year of eligibility. That is not the case in the 5 to play 5. You have 5 years to play 5 seasons. I don't know what kind of provisions they will make for injuries. I don't know whether it will be as easy to obtain an injury waiver these days as it used to be, but that's essentially the gist of it. No more red shirts. You can essentially approach your college career as if you have a full 5 seasons to play and don't have to worry about saving eligibility for any reason.
A texter in the 580 says, I would rather burn a pile of NIL money than waste it on Nick Anderson. You think Nick Anderson's going to be solid this year for Kentucky?
I hope so.
Given he's healthy?
I hope so, man.
I thought he was going to tear it up at LSU.
Yeah, gosh, his 2023 season was so good.
I know.
It was so good, man. Oh, he was such a fun player.
Mm-hmm.
That was back when people liked Emmett Jones. That was back when Emmett Jones had a high...
That was a time that existed?
Yes. Emmett Jones had a very high approval rating.
Interesting.
Andrell Anthony was balling out. Keep in mind, Andrell Anthony, the year before he got to Oklahoma, had 1 catch at Michigan.
Yeah.
Got to Oklahoma, was arguably the best receiver in the Big 12 for the first 5 games of the season.
Bingo. Yeah.
Nick Anderson exploded.
Jalil Farouk was doing his thing.
Jalil Farouk had a good, solid year.
Mm-hmm.
Drake Stoops leveled up in a major way.
Yep.
I mean, productive explosion for that guy relative to what he'd done in 20 and 21 and 22. 2023 was Drake Stoops' best year as a collegian by far. Almost got to 1,000 yards receiving.
Yep.
And then Jaden Gibson, too. Pre-injury Jaden Gibson. He was a playmaker. That's why it's so hard for me, and I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill here because I don't want to have this conversation for the next 20 minutes, but that's why it's so hard for me to get on board with the Emmett Jones slanders because last time Emmett had a fully healthy, deep receiver room.
That room was cooking.
That room was cooking, man. And everybody, every single one of those guys that I mentioned, Andrell Anthony, Nick Anderson, Drake Stoops, Jalil Farouk, Jaden Gibson, all 5 of them played the best ball of their collegiate career that year under Emmett Jones.
And it is wild how they all not just got hurt, they all got seriously hurt.
I know. What can you do? Can't control it. By the way, down the stretch in 2023, you know who else broke out in a big way? Brennan Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
405-651-3439. That's the First Liberty Bank text line. Hit us up here on Locked In. Much more ahead as we unwind here in the 2 o'clock hour. Grayson Singleton, Parker Thune with you here in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
Have you or someone you know suffered a loss to your home or business from the recent storms? Before you accept a settlement, call Brown O'Haver at 405-735-5510. Brown O'Haver is a local-based company helping Oklahomans with claims since 1988 with preparation and expert analysis detailing your loss and insurance settlement. As your trusted consultant, Brown O'Haver can give you peace of mind and make sure you're getting what's yours. Call Brown O'Haver today, 405-735-5510, and make sure they're working for you.
Feeling stuck in your current home? Now is the best time to make a move. Home Creations is making home ownership more affordable with low interest rate opportunities and special financing. Don't wait. Live like a champion today. Call Holly at 405-364-9999 to find your dream home.
364-9999 means Home Creations.
Good times are calling your name at the Showplace Theater with acts like Dave Attell, August 14th.
When I go over to someone's house and they got that air freshener smell, who are you fooling?
Diamond Rio, August 28th.
We meet in the middle, keep that old Georgia pine.
And Gabriel Iglesias, September 18th.
What if someone tries to kidnap you? Well, they're going to earn it.
Riverwind is OKC's favorite casino experience.
Whether you're from out of town or a lifelong Normanite, Visit Norman encourages you to shop, eat, and play local this summer. Since 1976, the Mont has been serving up Norman favorites, the legendary Sooner Swirl, mouth-watering chips and queso, and unforgettable nights on the patio. Meet your friends at the corner of Boyd and Classen and enjoy a true Norman tradition at the Mont. Transform your home at Wonder House. They specialize in custom window treatments, outdoor screens, and expert upholstery tailored to your lifestyle. Discover an outstanding selection of designer and performance fabric at Wonder House, beautifully tailored for the way you live. And keep the fun moving at the Young Family Athletic Center. Dive into exciting water adventures at Westwood Aquatics and spend a great day on the course at Westwood Golf Course. There's something for every member of the family. Keep the good times rolling in Norman all summer when you eat, shop, and play local.
Are you in need of purchasing your own health insurance? Are you turning 65 and confused about Medicare? Are you an employer looking at offering benefits to your staff? Call the agents at Allison Insurance. They'll sort through the confusion. They're not captive to just one company, and they'll get the best option for you. Don't get frustrated. Call Allison Insurance at 800-580-5587 or 745-2968. Allison Insurance. They are the experts.
The Westwood Family Aquatic Center is the ultimate summer staycation destination. At Westwood, you can enjoy water slides, diving boards, swim lessons, and much more. Our captivating toddler area and splash pad ensure that the entire family can have a great time. Join us for our 21-plus adult nights, glow nights, member appreciation events, and other special occasions for an evening of entertainment and relaxation. Season passes are available for unlimited fun, and pass holders receive additional benefits. Visit westwoodpool.com now for more information and to purchase your passes. Are you, your family, or company looking for a locally owned and trusted management group? Carlsbad Management Group is an owner, developer, and manager of high-quality apartment communities in Oklahoma. They are a locally owned and operated management company for apartments and self-storage units. They are committed to providing exceptional apartment homes, customer service, and increasing the value of multi-family communities under our management. If you would like a free management quote today, call Carlsbad Management at 405-701-1411 and be part of the Carlsbad family.
First Liberty Bank text line open to all of you at 405-651-3439 if you want to make your voice heard. On today's installment of The Boys No Ball, remember Kyron Brown? Remember that name?
Yeah.
We talked quite a bit about Kyron Brown.
Ended up committing to Texas?
He did, man. And Kyron Brown was a guy that Oklahoma offered, hosted for a visit, and I'll emphasize this, like could have taken his commitment, could have had him if they wanted him. They decided they did not. They had some apprehensions about where he fit positionally and whether he truly was an OU caliber player. One of the things we discussed repeatedly on this show was, and I got to watch him at the Under Armour camp down in Dallas, I believe in March. Loved Kyron Brown as a wide receiver. Thought he made a ton of sense for Oklahoma as a wide receiver. Oklahoma chose not to pursue him any further after the initial offer and after they brought him to campus once. But he went, camped at Texas last month, earned the offer from the Longhorns, committed to them to play wide receiver. With the latest Rivals rankings update, he is a top 250 player in the nation at wide receiver.
Good call by you.
Imagine that, folks.
Good call by you.
The Boys No Ball. And who knows what kind of player he's going to be at the next level. Maybe Oklahoma's apprehensions will be vindicated. Maybe he amounts to nothing much at Texas. It's always impossible to tell with certainty how a guy's going to fare as he makes the transition from high school to college. But the Amarillo native, man, there's a lot to like on his tape. At wideout, I like that take by Texas. It is kind of unfortunate that it had to be Texas. But I think he's going to be a fun little tool for that Texas offensive staff to work with over the next few years. Good size, man, good hands, real fluid, good speed, excellent speed. Yeah, it's a good pickup.
The interesting thing about Texas is who's going to be calling the plays by the time Kyron Brown is, a junior or senior, producing at the next level. Because, I feel like there's a consensus around everywhere that Steve Sarkisian is not going to be there for that much longer.
Which is very interesting because, I wonder how you combat that. I wonder how Sarkisian is combating that.
Well, the low-hanging fruit is they do pay people a nice chunk.
Sure they do. But I'm sure they're not all just completely willing to take Sark's word for it if he says, I'm going to be at Texas for the long haul. I'm not going anywhere. Any NFL jobs that crop up, I'm not going to take them. I want to retire at the University of Texas. I think most everybody has seen enough or heard enough or dealt with enough college coaches to know that you can't always take a guy at his word when he says those things.
Especially with how easy it is for college coaches to move around.
Yeah, and it's going to be very understandable if Sarkisian winds up leaving Texas for an NFL job because he will probably have an NFL job available to him at a certain point.
Yes.
Heck, the members of Oklahoma's 2022 recruiting class, they all found this out the hard way. There was all that noise about Lincoln Riley and other jobs. And they kept asking him over and over. They and their families would ask him, are you considering going anywhere but Oklahoma? They took him at his word when he said no, and then he left for USC.
And also granted, though, what coach is actually going to say yes?
Yeah, fair.
If you're an offensive prospect, especially if you're a quarterback that is committing to Texas, are you blind faith, trust falling into the fact that you think they're going to get another brilliant offensive mind after Sarkisian? Because I don't know if you saw those coaches between Mac Brown and Steve Sarkisian, but it was a little bit of a tire fire down there in Austin for a little bit.
CJ Sooner in Florida, meanwhile, says, 1 good year versus 3 is not a good hit rate, Parker. I get you love Emmett Jones, but he simply has to be better. You can't be an elite program and not have elite coaching and development everywhere. I think it's harder for you because you have real relationships with these guys. OU fans are just looking at it from a production POV. Okay, first things first here, CJ Sooner. I don't think it's any harder because of any relationships that, for instance, the first coach I ever got friendly with, first coach I ever developed a real relationship with at the University of Oklahoma was none other than Joe John Finley. Had no issue, absolutely no issue, holding Joe John Finley to account for his lack of recruiting and lack of development It was one of the major talking points throughout the football season last fall and even long before. So, look, I call it as I see it. I don't let relationships or biases get in the way of my analysis. I do my best to be intellectually honest. And here's what I honestly think of the picture at wide receiver under the leadership of Emmett Jones. I think too many people gloss over and forget the impact that 2024 had. Not just on the program at large, but most specifically on the wide receiver room. Because we just talked about all those receivers that boomed under Jones in 2023. Mm-hmm. One of the 5, Drake Stoops, graduated and left. The other 4, Jalil Farouk, Nick Anderson, Andrell Anthony, and Jaden Gibson.
All got hurt.
All missed all or most of that season with injury. That wide receiver room got absolutely ravaged to the point where Zion Reagans started the Texas game due to lack of a viable alternative. And walk-on true freshman Jacob Jordan was seeing the field by week 7 in the South Carolina game. And so 2024 caused me to basically completely reset my expectations for the wide receiver room because you just couldn't carry over any expectations that you cultivated from 2023 because all of those guys were gone or sidelined or both. And so 2025, I don't know how any of you as individuals feel about what transpired in the wide receiver room in 2025 or the performance of that unit as a whole. The way I see it, Isaiah Satania became an all-SEC guy.
Yeah.
He was the lead dog. He was the head honcho in that receiver room. You got decent contributions from a few other guys, but Satania was OU's meal ticket at that position. That's fine with me. I think by anyone's standards, Oklahoma's wide receiver room had a fine season last year. And especially on the heels of 2024, I didn't mind it one bit. They had to deal with injuries to Keontez Lewis and Giovanni Gibson as well.
Yeah, one guy was all SEC. Another guy was looking pretty good until he banged up against a brick wall that I still have no idea who let that be there. And another guy got drafted. I feel like you did a bang up job there. Okay, so fine, 2 seasons. 2 seasons of solid production.
Mm-hmm.
2024 was the strange year. 2026, I think, can be a real referendum on Emmett Jones, given everybody stays healthy.
There's no doubt.
Because there's no reason we should still be having this conversation a year from now with Parker Livingston, Isaiah Satania, and Trell Harris on your team with the litany of guys behind them. So if we're still having this conversation 12 months from now, okay, now we've got a problem. We have a real problem then. But I think for right now, 2026, man, give that man 2026 and see what happens.
A listener in Florida says, anytime a coach is on the hot seat, Parker's first reaction is always, who do you get that's better? Not, this is the best they can do, relationship or not. I wouldn't say that's always my reaction. That was certainly not my reaction with Joe John Finley.
See, it was my reaction with Joe John Finley.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, you turned a linebacker into an all-SEC tight end.
That had a lot more to do with Jaron Kinnick than it did Joe John Finley.
See, I don't buy that.
Joe John Finley had an impact, certainly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't divorce the two.
No, yeah, like he deserves some credit.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of tight end coaches that Oklahoma could have replaced him with, including the one that they did that are superior.
Obviously, if we knew, like, hey, there's a possibility they could go get Jason Witten, well, yeah, then you fire Joe John Finley, obviously.
Look at the market, though, for Joe John's services after he was cut loose at Oklahoma. He landed at Texas State as an offensive analyst.
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I think the market says all that needs to be said in retrospect about a coach. And my answer that was my response whenever somebody suggested firing DeMarco Murray. And again, I think the market gives you an indication of how highly DeMarco Murray is regarded across the industry because he got an NFL job. That said, I do very strongly believe Oklahoma did manage to get a guy that was better than him in Dylan McCullough.
Right.
Tulsa Boomer wants to know, when do the Sooners report for fall camp? It's going to be beginning of, I believe the second week of August is when fall camp kicks off. I don't have an exact date. I'll work on getting that. But, yeah, August rolls around. Fall camp is on the cusp of kicking off. So we've got about 2-3 weeks left without football before we really ramp this sucker up again.
Man, why do they call it fall camp?
I don't know, because it's still summer,
Still
man.
going to be 105 degrees
Holy
outside.
smokes. Being out there for some of those post-practice interview scrums in August, it gives you a respect and appreciation for what those dudes have to endure in helmets and pads for hours a day. And that's why what happened with Michael Fasusi last August was so scary.
Right.
You remember the heat stroke incident?
Uh-huh, yep.
That's a real concern that time of year, especially in a place like Oklahoma. Man, being out in the heat, doing activities that are that physically demanding, wearing that type of protective equipment, it's no joke, man. It is no joke. But hey, Brent Venables and staff, they get those boys prepared for the challenge that lies ahead of them. That's why they go out to the rugby fields instead of chilling in the air-conditioned Everest Center. If I was in their shoes, I would much rather practice in the Everest Center than the rugby fields.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's got to be a hellacious experience on the rugby fields for a couple of years.
Yeah, but also
or for a couple of weeks every
year. Why, if you're going to have us out here in the 105-degree weather, what the hell is the purpose of the indoor? That's what I'd be thinking.
405-651-3439. That's the First Liberty Bank text line. We got one more segment to go here on Locked In before we wrap it up here on, what is today, Wednesday?
Today's Tuesday.
All the days are running together.
You sleep all right last night?
I slept fine last night.
Okay.
I just need football to get here. We're in the dog days of summer, folks. We'll keep it rolling next. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
A true Sooner fan wouldn't be caught dead without the KREF app. Join the Army. Get the app. Tell your friends. This is The Ref, where diehard Sooner fans listen.
Your annual checkup is important, but do you know what's happening inside your body? Lab work gives you the answers. At Norman Regional, getting your labs drawn is fast and simple. No referral needed. Multiple locations across Norman, Moore, Goldsby, and Newcastle with same-day results for most tests. Give us a call. Our friendly local team is available 24/7 over the phone if you have any questions. Know your numbers. Know your health. Walk in, schedule online at normanregional.com or call 405-307-1100.
Great companies don't just need capital, they need the right platform. Boyd Street Capital builds on the foundation of Boyd Street Ventures, expanding into growth equity and strategic capital. We support companies through every stage of growth with discipline, alignment, and execution. If you're building for the long term, we're built for it too. Connect with us at Boyd Street Capital, under the radar, above the crowd. That's Boyd Street Capital, under the radar, above the crowd.
Question: what new full-size trucks have the best powertrain warranty in America? Answer: new Ram trucks. They now come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's a very long time. So where can you find the new Ram truck? Answer: VanceAutoGroup.com. Vance has a plethora of new Ram trucks at their dealership in Guthrie, only 10 minutes north of Edmond on I-35. Vance also has dealerships in Miami and Woodward. John, Megan, and the rest of the Vance family invite you to enjoy a better kind of buying experience, one with superior service, the lowest price, and a Ram powertrain warranty good for 10 years or 100,000 miles. Find out more by going to VanceAutoGroup.com.
With approved credit, see dealer for Ram warranty.
How do you know your home? At Habitat for Humanity, we believe it's when you find peace, stability, and safety. But 1 in 3 people on Earth woke up today without a good home. Not because of chance, but because of high costs and other very real barriers. A housing crisis this big needs all of us. So let's open the door to opportunity and build a tomorrow where home is possible for everyone. Visit Habitat.org to learn more. Again, that's Habitat.org. Habitat for Humanity. Let's open the door.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Now, We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Hi, I'm Kristen Bell. As a mom, I want my kids to have full bellies, big dreams, and all the energy in the world to chase them. But right now, millions of kids in America are living with hunger. No Kid Hungry works every day in schools, in communities, and during the summertime to make sure kids have healthy meals all year round. So let's do this. Let's give all the kids the chance to grow up healthy and strong.
Go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510.
Holler at us via the First Liberty Bank text line, 405-651-3439, as Sooner Smitty has done. He asked, is Mateer eligible for an extra year in 2027? No, he is not. This will be John Mateer's last year of college football. Here's an interesting question from Zach in Guthrie, Grayson. I would be curious for your slant on this.
Okay.
I'm really fascinated by this possibility, and I think there's a lot to this conversation. Do y'all think the 5 for 5, which we've talked about quite a bit today, will tempt high school recruits to go to a lesser school just so they can play their first year, then transfer to the school they really want to go to for the last 3 or 4 years?
So basically, really treat the FCS or Group of 5 as a actual farm system. No. I do not. For two reasons, and they both work in favor of both parties. Number one, because they can get more money quicker.
Yes, they can.
If they go straight to the bigger school. Number two, exposure equals time. Now, that exposure equals, success here. Because you get exposed quicker on the bigger stages. You get on NFL radars faster. Also, your exposure could be to your own team in the practices and fall camps. And what do people want to do? They want to retain guys even more because it's cheaper to do that than to go get proven commodities out of the transfer portal. So either way, financially, it works out better not just for the school, but for the player too, to just go straight to the school. So no. So no, good question, but no, I don't see that happening.
Here's what I would say to that. I don't question that some of those smaller schools will start to use that in their recruiting pitches to players of a certain caliber. I don't question that certain G5 and FCS programs will start to basically act like junior colleges because it's going to be their best hope of keeping talent swinging through the doors year over year. But here's what that also requires, Grayson, and this is not common amongst 17-year-olds. It requires self-awareness. It requires an acknowledgement on the part of the player that I'm not good enough to play at Oklahoma or Alabama or Ohio State or Miami as a true freshman. But with a year or two of development, I might be. It forces them to acknowledge that I can't play right off the bat in the upper rungs of the P4, but I can play right off the bat at Louisiana Lafayette. There aren't a lot of 17-year-olds that are going to want to accept that.
If early playing time is the deal breaker for those guys, then yes, I agree with you. But if the goal isn't always early playing time, then I don't think it matters. And also, okay, fine. What sets you apart from all the other freshmen who are going to be at Ohio State and Miami? Like, those dudes aren't playing a whole bunch of, like we've mentioned numerous times, there aren't a whole lot of Jeremiah Smiths walking the earth.
No, there are not.
So there's not a whole lot of freshmen that are playing at these places anyway. So I would just say, just go ahead and get in the program.
And the bigger issue, I think, as you reference, is going to be the compensatory aspect.
Yeah.
A 3-star kid, if he has the option of making $80,000 in year one and probably not playing at all at the University of Tennessee, or making $30,000 and playing a whole bunch in year one at Bowling Green, 70 to 80% of the time, the kid in question is probably just going to go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
People like money.
In this economy, why wouldn't you?
Everyone likes money. You say you don't like money, you're lying. It may not be the primary driving force in all of the decisions that you make, but people like money. 17-year-olds like money. And so if they can make an extra $50,000 at a more prestigious school with more tradition, better facilities, a better training table, more student-athlete support, and it comes at the cost of early playing time, I think, to quote the great Lord Farquaad, that's a sacrifice they're willing to make.
Yeah, because it's not like you're just sitting on your ass doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're getting those reps, you're getting in the strength and conditioning program. Like think about it this way: all these high-dollar recruits that we talk about, Parker, them schools are going to be paying them like $200,000 to not play. A lot of them this upcoming year. No, so yeah, go collect your 6 figures, go learn and develop, and while you're not playing and while you're not subjecting yourself to all this punishment, you're going to be one of the richest people in your age demographic walking around the area. It's a pretty good life.
A 918 listener says, gosh, man, I remember a time when freshmen were ineligible, period. Yes, I'm old.
Jeez, my dad used to talk to me about that all the time,
Yeah,
and that would blow my mind.
When did that change? Early 80s? Thereabouts? Somebody let me know. I want to say early 80s was roughly the time period where the rules changed and freshmen could play varsity football. But yes, there was certainly a time.
Remember when there was a delineation between varsity and non-varsity at the college level? Talk about a long time ago.
Do they still play JV football anywhere?
When I first heard that, I was like, there's no way that was a thing.
I did see last week, I didn't know this was a thing. Ohio State has club football. They have a football team that's a club team.
Really?
And in rare occasions, guys are good enough at the club football level that they essentially get a quote-unquote promotion.
That's crazy.
To the actual Ohio State football team, which is awesome.
That's crazy.
That's really cool. I don't think that's a thing everywhere. It's certainly not a thing in Oklahoma. But yeah, they legit have a club football team.
That's
at
wild.
Ohio State.
Huh.
Oh, good call, Trash Man. He said it changed after the Marshall plane crash in the 70s. Yes.
Okay.
TK Sooner said, yes, Parker, they still play JV football at Oklahoma State. You are correct.
Well played.
Craig in Cleveland made the exact same joke at the exact same time.
That's wild.
Deer Creek Sooner said, could the SEC and Big Ten be moving fairly quickly toward just doing their own postseason apart from everyone else? Maybe forming a 4-division super conference.
We answered a question like this a few days ago, and my answer to that is that if they could, they probably already would be kicking the tires on it. I don't think they can. They would be sued out the you-know-what if they tried to do that. Like there's legal ramifications for if they tried to do that.
Look, the direction that everything's pointing, and I don't know how long it's going to take to come to fruition, but I do think we will eventually live in a world where we have 2 major conferences in college football. It'll be the college equivalent of the AFC and the NFC and the NFL.
Yeah.
We will have 2 power leagues. Those leagues will probably be the shells of the SEC and the Big Ten. But there are programs that you're going to have to accommodate, if for no other reason than prestige and their level of competition, from leagues like the ACC and the Big 12 and even the occasional American Conference program. You know? They're going to have to find a way to get everybody that matters.
Right. Well, actually, I wouldn't even mind. Josh and I talked about this a couple weeks ago one day when you were gone at one of the camps, but I would not mind just a 68-team, just power league that is structured like the NFL.
Or like professional soccer where you have relegation.
Promotion relegation, yeah.
Well, if that were the case, Oklahoma State would have gotten relegated.
I mean, shoot. Hey, maybe Eric Morris can get him back up there. I don't know, but I would like a league that was structured basically just like a mega NFL. Like, I think it makes a lot of sense. It makes our lives a whole lot easier. It functions more along the lines of common sense too.
Good point from Brian and Bixby. What are y'all talking about? We got Baker off the intramural team. What outstanding OU lore that is. And it was lore at Adams Center, where I was an RA my sophomore year of college. Baker Mayfield lived in a regular dorm with the regular student population in Muldrow Tower. Muldrow 610, which no longer exists because Adams Center has been bulldozed to make room for the new McCaslin dormitories.
Those look nice, too.
Yeah, they are nice. But Muldrow 610 was where Baker Mayfield lived, and yes, he did play intramural football while he was ineligible for varsity competition because of transfer rules at the time. There is only one Baker Mayfield, and there will only ever be one Baker Mayfield. They knew him as Bake.
They
in
did.
The intramural circles.
They did.
And he dominated. As you might expect for a future Heisman Trophy
winner. I would imagine. I would imagine. Blake from Wasso says, I think the SEC and the Big Ten will have their own super conference, own playoff format like the NFL and own Natty. The rest of the conferences will have their own playoffs. See, I don't think so. Like, I do think there would be legal ramifications for if the Big Ten and the SEC tried to do that. And here's all you need to know about why I think they would do it if they could. Because they come out in opposition of everything. Like, you ever notice that? Like, when it comes to, like, the Protect College Sports Act and any other thing that goes, who is it that's always releasing joint statements in opposition to anything? The SEC and the Big Ten. If they could go off and do their own thing, I bet you they would have done it by now.
Any changes to the athletic landscape, at least within the realm of those that have been proposed over the last few years, they do. I think they fundamentally work against the SEC and the Big Ten because right now they're at the top of the food
yes,
chain.
and it would kind of level out the money. Even though, very interestingly enough, Pete Vivacqua was over here saying that you want to make actually more money total, pool the media rights together, which would be an interesting thing to do. But I mean, yeah, I mean it would bring everybody up a little bit more, and I mean it wouldn't bring the SEC and the Big Ten down. I mean they're still going to be them.
All right, final thing before we wrap up the show. Answering a text from Tooth on the text line. Tooth asks, what player who didn't have a big role last year becomes a household name this season, offense and defense? As we mentioned at the top of the show, Eddie Pierre-Louis is going to be one of Oklahoma's representatives at SEC Media Days next week, which is kind of cool. Tampa native, gets to represent the Sooners in his home city.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think, Grayson? Who are the two names that rise to the top for you?
I mean, I think the easy answer is Boganowski, the one that we've gone back to a lot.
Come on.
This year. I think Boganowski is easily the number one. Number two is hard. You know what? I'll take a swing at Jermichael Carter.
I like that.
I'll take a swing. I really liked how when they actually started giving him some run at the end of last year.
He made plays, man.
I liked Jermichael Carter a lot. He not big numbers last year, obviously, but give me some Jermichael Carter stock there.
He's the perfect example of the guy that's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle as far as the hype goes.
Yeah. But
probably shouldn't because of what he was able to do down the stretch last year. Like, there's going to be a role for Jermichael Carter. There will certainly be.
Who's your two?
I'll revert, and I agree with you on Boganowski, but I'll revert to a guy that I've been talking up all off season because I think he brings something unique to the room that he's in, and I think there's a very real world where he has a much larger impact than the average fan anticipates right now, and that is Rocky Beers.
Okay.
I think Rocky Beers is Oklahoma's best field stretcher at tight end, and I think a guy like that in an offense like Ben Arbuckle's can play a big-time role and can make his presence felt. And he is just a really, really grizzled seasoned football player, too. He's going to be a seventh-year senior. He might wind up being the last seventh-year senior in the history of OU football. I don't know how many seventh-year seniors there have been before him. Not many. But we're probably never going to see another seventh-year senior after Rocky Beers.
Probably not.
The guy's been around the block, man. And he's a heck of an athlete. He's going to be a red zone weapon. But he's also somebody that can be dangerous in the open field. And in a tight end's body at that. 6'5", 240 pounds. Love the skill set that he brings to that room. And think he could make a huge impact as a pass catcher. Oh, all the hype conversations are going to ramp up in earnest as we get closer and closer to fall camp, folks. We'll get through the dog days of July together. We'll do it all again tomorrow, same time, same place. You're on Locked In. The Rush is next. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.